The man has a following.
He's a rogue who answers to no one.
You asked me before if I knew his name. Now everyone knows his name, and I fear for his safety.
Throw this down for a catch.
Do you think that impossible things can happen? That overturn the laws of nature? That cannot be explained. Rise.
Matthew, son of Alphaeus.
Yes.
This is different.
Get used to different. My whole life, I have wondered if I would see this day.
Follow me, Nicodemus, and you'll see more. God loves the world in this way, that he gave his only son.
I'm going to tell everyone.
I was counting on it.
Anything is possible now. Don't you see?
Let's go.
I was one way, and now I am completely different. And the thing that happened in between was him.
Right now, we are in Soundstage 1, and this is a 20,000 square foot building. It's where we keep all of our sets during filming. Right now, we don't have that many sets up. We usually could fit 5 or 6 in here, but we only have 1, and I just want to give you all a sneak peek of it. Here we are. This is what would be like a scroll study room for the Pharisees in our show. So you'd see some of our characters like Jairus, Shmuel. They would be looking over the law of Moses. You can see we got all these different scrolls and books here with absolutely no writing on them. These are just prop books. This feels like it could be like a gas station paper towel and as the page. So, but it looks great. It looks awesome. So this looks like, you know, like a nice marble kitchen island table here, but really it's just some wood, some nice vinyl coating. Put some light on it, looks like a movie. If you're a fan of the show, you'll probably notice that we have tons of candles. So you can see here, there's still oil in this one, even though we're between seasons. We use a lot of natural light on the show, and that's really what sells being in the 1st century. Sometimes when we're shooting on a set like this, you know, we could have 20 to 30 flames going, and we have an amazing special effects team that keeps us all safe while that's going as well, because we are indoors. But yeah, a lot of natural light that really just sells that look. You know, a lot of 1st century stuff here, but this maybe not so much. Yeah. Back here, you can see we got a lot of Torahs. So these would be the official word. No one could touch these but a priest at this time. And you can see you got the really ornate one there in the middle with the gold caps on it. We stayed true to these. We actually work with some Messianic churches that will help provide some of these as mock-ups for our team to build. And we've even had moments where we've had real ones that we borrow from the Messianic church, and you pull them out and can actually read the text there in Hebrew. So over here you can see some of these scrolls. We've got so many in the walls here. And this is just a piece of paper that's glued shut. So there's nothing actually on here, but it sells that there's actually people writing here every day like there would have been. But then, you know, right here we do have some that you'll see. We do have some text there in Hebrew. Is this upside down? I don't know. But yeah. This is just one of our mini sets that we have. So I'm gonna take you guys over to the wardrobe building and we'll see what we got going on over there. So real quick before we head over to the wardrobe building, I just want to show you guys this. These are some of the boats from the show. So you've seen these in a lot of episodes, specifically our season 3 finale. These are real boats. They work in the water and real wood. There was one scene that we did with these. It's really one of the most pivotal things that our fans love is this scene. And it was filmed on a wave pool surrounded by 100-foot tall blue screens. And we had our actors on wires and even a place where one of our actors could appear to be walking on water. And here we are in the wardrobe shop, and right here, all these racks that are kind of covered up, this is all of our main principal actors' wardrobe. And I'm not going to show you these today just because I don't know if there's anything that you haven't seen yet. I don't want to spoil anything for any of our viewers, but we're going to head upstairs and there's some stuff I can really show y'all that's super fun. Here we are on the 2nd floor. So this is where we store all of our background extras clothing during our off seasons. It's about 4,000 square feet of space up here, so that's a lot of clothes. And right here, you can see they're kind of divided by what kind of extra would they be. We have Roman soldiers, we have Greeks, we have Roman citizens, and all those different people just need to have stuff ready for them on the day when they're here. So we got all the Roman helmets. There's some of Herod's palace guards and just different helmets there. So yeah, here over is all the things you need to build out soldiers. If you need servants, that's kind of right here. This is just extra stock of just fun little accessories, but they're all labeled as you go down. This is just all accessories, all your jewelry, these little pieces, and all the tools you need to adjust them to the people for that day. These little jewelry pieces here. Some nice, let's see if I can just get this out and get it. Yeah, these are neck bands for someone with a smaller neck than mine. And then as we go down, you'll see these are just kind of our citizens, people that are out in the streets. We'll have extra days, you know, anywhere from 200 to we did the feeding of the 5,000. So for some of the big days where we've done things like the feeding of the 5,000, the Sermon on the Mount, we don't provide all of the wardrobe. We just guide people on how to create their own. So, and then here's kind of where you'll see a lot of the like religious figures. This is where you'd see the Pharisees, the Sadducees, Herodians. These are just kind of the different sects of religious leaders at that time. Some of these are, I think these are just shawls and head wraps for the most part here. So a lot of the women would cover their hair typically back in that time. So we have a lot of options for everybody. These sometimes we'll put over our Roman soldiers. It helps them from the metal and stuff scraping them, hurting them. And it's not that it would hurt, it would just, you know, give you a blister or something for the day. So put these on, and it also helps keeping the sweat off of some things when it's really, really hot outside. This looks like my girlfriend's shoe rack right here. There's quite a few, and they're all the same, just like my girlfriend's shoe rack. If you gotta fit your people on the day, you can just throw these on the ground. What size shoe are you? Are you a woman size 10 or a men's 8.5? Just step on this and lets us know. Everything's gotta be quick. Sometimes we'll have 200 extras and we gotta be, you know, get them in, get them out shooting within an hour. Sometimes 2 hours if you have a lot. So thanks for joining me at Wardrobe. And next up, we're gonna go see the prop house. Ooh. All right, here we are in the set deck and props building. This is where we store all of the artwork, furniture, pots, and cups, plates, all those kind of things that you see in the show. This is where they're all stored. Lots of cool stuff here. I mean, we got full statues. This thing's as tall as me. It's huge. Come on. And then there's some that you might even recognize that I'll be walking around here sometimes and I'll be like, oh, that's from season 2, episode 7. Or whatever it might be. So one that I always point out to people because people love this episode, in our season 3 finale, there's a scene with King David, and him and his wife are sitting on thrones. Those are those thrones up there, way up high up there. This is just a little handcart. I'm not sure what you would transport in this, in all honesty, but could just be a cart for some goods for a merchant. I don't know. You can take your kids out on it. It could be like one of those things you tow behind a bike. I'm not sure. And then here, all those scrolls we saw earlier. If you need more, we got plenty. There's all sorts of stuff here. We got full shelves of rugs. Some of these rugs, like this one right here, you'll see it's labeled. It's labeled Roman Authority, which is one of our sets that we've used this rug for seasons now. Over there, that's Simon's bedroom. There's a tapestry that hangs over his bedroom. So all those things, we got to keep them and make sure that they stay safe from all the weather. This is where we do that. So the front half of the building there, that's just all the set deck. That's all the guys that go basically move furniture and make a place feel lived in and make it feel like you're walking around. This is accurate. But then all the little art pieces, cups, things that people would hold in their hands, this is where we keep those. This is the prop section of the building. All right, so now we're in the prop section of the building. This is where we keep all the little decorative items that you would actually see an actor carrying, holding in their hand. Here's tons of cups and chalices. And then you'll have the pots that maybe Zebedee would be putting his oil into. Mary Magdalene would be grabbing grain to cook out of. Our plates where, these are the ones that people would actually eat off of. So everything you see here is stuff that someone would actually be holding, taking with them. A lot of these here that you see are maybe stuff that our extras would hold. Stuff that's just generally props. But then you go over to this other section and we have our labeled props that are for specific characters. Joanna, for instance. And then we go over here, one of our favorites right here, little James. It's our guy. All right, so now we've seen the wardrobe room, we've seen our prop house, we've seen our soundstage. Now we're gonna go over to our first century city. All right, here we are at our city set of Capernaum. You've seen a little bit of this in season 3. You're gonna see a lot of it in season 4. And so what I'm about to do is take you on a little behind the scenes tour, show you some stuff that you probably are not gonna see anywhere else. All right, so walking into our main gate here, as we got all these fabulous stone walls, hollow stone walls. This is styrofoam mostly, and it's shaped and sculpted to really give that texture of stone. And here we are. This is one of our very famous sets a lot of fans will recognize from the show. This is Simon and Eden's house, just this front half of it. And one of the really recognizable places you'll see here is where they crush grapes from a scene. They have this little area here. For the inside of the house, we actually shoot all that on the soundstage. So this is really just where we show anytime Simon would come in and out of the door. And right now, it's very dark in here, but you can see we're just storing some of our extra set decoration pieces. Since we're in an off season, not shooting right now, we have all these covered up just to make sure that water's not getting in and messing these places up. All right, so keeping moving on, we're kind of now entering the red quarter of town. So this would be the poor Jewish area. And it kind of just goes down this alleyway, and you'll see that there's little houses up top and bottom that we've used or might use for different characters as we establish them. Also here, this is Alpheus's house in the show. We haven't used it much here, but that is Alpheus's house. And then one of the main ones that a lot of people recognize is this larger house here. And this is Matthew's house. So this is kind of where it becomes a wealthier part of town here. So here we are, we're inside Matthew's place. Right now it's used as storage, but typically there'd be a table here. And this is where a lot of the disciples would meet. There's some scenes with Mary and Salome from season 4 here. In the show, Zebedee has started an oil business, and so these are some of the pots because they ran the business out of Matthew's house starting in season 3. So these are those pots, and you can see they're a little bit dirtier up top as like the oil spills out. All right, and as you can see, Matthew's house just has more detail. It's a little more ornate. He was a wealthy tax collector, so he has the money to put it into his house, unlike these fishermen. Poor dudes. All right, and so that's the Red Quarter side of town. As we go over here, you can see there's some more Roman influence. This part of the house on this side is Jewish. As you wrap around it here, you can see that now we're completely in Roman town. There's, paintings of Medusa, these hand-carved details up top there. It's actually all hand-carved wood, all those figures. One of the things I love about being in the Roman section is just all the detail. All of this is hand-painted, these little faces here. And then even kind of the gargoyles that do the water drainage up top. This is kind of the Roman section. There's tons of little nooks and crannies of different things here. We have a butcher shop, you have a winery down here, and then as well as the horse stables at the end where the Romans would keep their horses. And if there's any Monty Python fans out there, we have a little Easter egg hidden in the city here. And if you screwed up back then with the Romans, they had a jailhouse just for you. And here we are in our market square. This has usually filled with tons of booths and different merchants selling all sorts of things, dates, figs, fish, sandals, leatherworks. But one of the main things that most of our fans will recognize from here is Matthew's tax booth.
We're not friends. Next.
Okay, fine.
This is where Matthew would spend his time collecting money from all the citizens of Capernaum and Gaius, his beloved Roman guard. All right, we got a little bit of movie magic here. This is an olive press outside of Zebedee's house. And how they would operate it is they would push down here and it would squeeze the olive oil out of all these bindings here. The fun thing is this actually doesn't function. There's a tube that goes out the back here that will feed the oil in so that whenever we're shooting this, it looks like a real olive press, but our actors don't actually have to squeeze olives. Come with me upstairs. I want to show you guys something. This is also some more movie magic. This building here is Pontius Pilate's house. Pontius Pilate wouldn't have lived in Capernaum, but we shoot here to not have to build sets other places. What I love about this room is the level of detail. All the walls, this is hand painted. There's so much color that if you're the Emperor of Rome, these colors, you can't get them as easily, so only someone of his stature could afford them. And then these mosaics in here, these are all hand tiled. Same with the floor mosaics. These are hand tiled as well. So there's just so much beautiful ornate detail throughout this space. So I got one more place I want to show you guys. It's the synagogue at Capernaum, but then the inside of it is also the synagogue in Jerusalem. We section off the city at times to build out different places that aren't even in Capernaum. So right here you can see there's the leftover stain from where walls were put in right here to section this off to be a different village, not Capernaum. So we will section off the city and kind of make it different spaces outside of Capernaum's reach. And now we're about to go to the highest point of the city. Highest point of the city in any ancient city would have been the holy place. So here we are at the Capernaum Synagogue. You'll probably recognize this set piece. This is the cistern. In season 3, there was a great moment where two of our characters, one of the disciples and one of the Roman guards, ended up having a moment and bonding here, getting to know each other as humans. All right, so the outside of this building is our synagogue in Capernaum, but once you go inside, now we're in Jerusalem. I'll show you what I mean. So now that we're inside, we're in Jerusalem, and this would have been the Sanhedrin. This is kind of the place where the highest level priest in the Jewish faith would have meetings and convene, and there would be 71 sages. So there's 71 chairs in here. I actually have that accurate. They're all covered up right now, but this is probably one of the more accurate builds historically that we have here. This piece that's on the wall behind here is actually about a 200-year-old piece weighing about 1,400 pounds that we shipped in from India. So it is somewhat ancient, just like the set that it's in. I know all this seems so Hollywood and so perfectly dressed. Let me show you the real side of Hollywood here. So once you go back into here, now we're in the green room. This is where we have some restrooms. This is where our cast will hang out in between shoots. And even one more detail that is here, and it's actually in the concrete. It's in every wall here, but there's one place where it was left exposed. The construction crew put words of encouragement and prayers and Bible verses on the back of the walls in this whole set. So one thing we do in the show a lot is a lot of lighting by fire. These guys wouldn't have LEDs back at that time. So each one of these holders that holds 4 torches was custom built for these columns here. And when we're shooting in this set, we could have up to 30 different open flame sources going at once. And you'll even notice on the candelabras how much wax has been left over from when we've shot in here. I remember one time I came down to set and I saw a torch going right near camera, and the actor was 4 feet away from it, but then they had the diffusion, like a layer that would soften the light in between them, and apparently we have fire retardant versions of diffusion, so that way we can do that. That's the synagogue. So now I want to take you guys down to the docks and show you what makes a fishing village. All right, here we are down at the docks. Can't make an awesome fishing village without a docks. So one thing that I love about this, and that is so much detail and work put into it, is all the planks here on the dock actually have hand-carved etchings and marks in them, so that they look like they were made by an ancient chisel and not a modern saw.
Who are you talking to?
Apparently no one.
You shouldn't joke like that, my friend. Yeah, your friends might think you've lost faith.
A lot of the stuff that we've done for fishing in some of the seasons was done at Benbrook Lake, but then we're also doing some here As far as season 3 goes, there's not a lot of scenes down at the docks, but season 4, you're definitely going to see a lot more interaction in this area. Before we were here, before this was the city of Capernaum, before the Chosen, this actually was a area that Camp Hobbitsaw had built that was Fort Texas. It was like a historical Texas military fort, frontier type fort. And so whenever we came in to create this, we actually recycled some of the wood from the old fort, and a lot of it's in the docks here, and maybe even some of the other trim elements within the city. As we built, we really wanted to make sure that we honored Camp Hobbitsaw and all the people that went to build that fort. So that's why we've taken some of the wood and different elements that were left over and built them into our set now. So that is your behind the scenes look at the Chosen Studios. Thank you so much for coming with us today. And if you can, please support the show in any way you can. Watch it, share it, donate. We appreciate you all.